L'Amour Fan by David Smith. Music by Cristina Sergi. Homeward Bound, Part 11. Kevin's alarm started ringing at 6 a.m. He turned it off and snuggled into Maggie. "Good morning, baby," Kevin said quietly. "I love you, sweetie." "Good morning, my love," she responded, hugging him tight. "The week went too fast," she complained. "It sure did," Kevin agreed. "It was a really good week, though." They were on their last day of a family vacation in Kern River, California. They were packing up this morning to go back home. After a few minutes, they heard Stacy's voice. "Are you getting up?" "We don't want to," Maggie told her. "We already rolled up our sleeping bags," Trudy said. "Are you awake, Junior?" Kevin asked. "Yes," he answered. "I'm up." "I guess it's time to go," Kevin said. "Yeah," Maggie agreed. "They're anxious to get back home now." Everything was packed up very quickly. The twins kept Junior busy packing the van while they brought the things to him. Kevin and Maggie took down the tent. By the time they did that, they were ready to go. It was just after 7 a.m. They left the campground driving towards Kernville, hungry and ready for breakfast. Driving around a curve in the road, there was an area covered in wildflowers. "That's really pretty," Maggie said. "Let's stop and take a few pictures." Kevin pulled over and parked. They all piled out and wandered around the wildflowers, posing together and separate. The kids were having fun and being silly. They took turns taking pictures to make sure everyone was in a photo. Maggie and the twins each picked a handful of flowers. Then they all climbed back into the van and continued to Kernville. Kevin pulled into the parking lot of the River Kern General Store. They all had omelets, home fries, and bacon. The kids cleaned their plates without any encouragement from Kevin or Maggie. All of them were hungry. It was almost 9:30 a.m. when they walked out of the restaurant and climbed back into the van. "Let's go by and see Michael, then we'll hit the road," Kevin said. Pulling into the parking lot of Michael's garage, they caught him outside talking to an older man. Before Kevin could get out of the van, Michael was at his door. "Morning," Michael said. "Kevin, isn't it?" "Morning, Michael," Kevin said. "Yeah, you remembered." Michael peeked across Kevin at Maggie. "Morning, ma'am." "Morning," Maggie responded. Michael looked in the back seat. "Morning, kids." He turned back to Kevin. "The van running okay?" "Oh yeah," Kevin said. "We just wanted to return Mojave Crossing. We don't mean to pull you away from a customer." "Oh," and he laughed and looked over at his friend. "That's just Kernville Kenny. He comes by when he needs help with his truck. He's a mechanic but forgets things and picks my brain for the answers. He was born right here in Kern. I've known him a long time. His father came up from LA to make a movie back in the 30s and he never left. Hollywood made quite a few westerns here in those days and up to the 60s. Kenny's father bought property and built a nice ranch. His dad started training and raising horses for the movies. They had a variety of livestock they rented to them. Cattle, goats, pigs, chickens, ducks, geese. They made a good living until westerns faded away. His father was a stuntman more than an actor. When the movie business slowed down, he raised and sold horses. They also had cattle. Kenny is quite a cowboy himself. I've never worked on his truck. He likes to do the work himself. Don't call him Kernville Kenny, though. He doesn't like it. I don't say it to him too much anymore. It irritates him." Kevin handed Michael the paperback. "You didn't need to return it. Did you read it all?" "They read it to us," Stacy said. "We like Tal Sackett," Trudy added. Michael looked at Kevin. "Actually, Maggie and I took turns reading it out loud." Michael's face formed into a question mark. "Really? That's some serious family bonding." "You nailed it," Kevin said. "We loved it," the twins said together. "We have horses," Kevin explained. "The girls like westerns. We just hadn't read any, but we do watch western movies." "You mean you're cowgirls?" Michael asked. "That's right," Stacy said. Michael looked at Kevin. "That's so cool," he said. "We really enjoyed it and were wondering if there was another L'Amour book relating to LA history you could recommend," Kevin said. Michael looked at him, pausing, thinking. "Well," he said, "do you want something real old or after California became part of America?" "I don't know," Kevin answered. He looked over at Maggie. She just shrugged her shoulders. "Right off the top of my head," Michael said, "two books come to mind. The Californios takes place in the 1840s, The Lonesome Gods in the 1870s. Kevin looked at Maggie. "Write that down, baby. We can look for them." "That's not necessary," Michael said. "Give me a minute." He turned and walked into the office. "Do you think he's going to bring us books?" Maggie asked. "I think so," Kevin said. "He does have a large selection in there." Michael was back in a few minutes with 2 books in his hand. "Here's both of them. You're welcome to them." Kevin took them and looked at them. "Are you sure?" "Of course," Michael answered. "Like I told you, they're passed around or just left here for the customers. I also like to talk to folks about Louie's books. Sounds like you're getting as hooked as I am. Besides, I've read each one several times. That's the thing about his books. You can read them more than once and still enjoy them. I think of them as old friends." "We all enjoyed Mojave Crossing. This is real nice of you," Maggie said. "This vacation added a lot to our lives." Michael got a quizzical look on his face. "Both of our fathers died," Kevin explained, "and Maggie's stepfather. The 3 of them read a lot of his books. It was very emotional for us reading Mojave Crossing. Then when the girls joined in with us, it was very special. I had avoided reading his books on purpose. I guess I knew someday I would, and this trip was the time. It was actually therapeutic for Maggie and I. Then the girls learned more about their grandfathers as well. Quite a family experience." "It sounds like it," Michael said. "Sorry to hear about their deaths." "It was a long time ago now," Kevin responded. "They say time heals everything, but that must have been hard," Michael said. "Yeah," Kevin responded. "We still have our mothers. Then, of course, the kids help." "I have horses as well," Michael explained, "and a boy and a girl. They're teenagers now, but we still ride together sometimes. My wife and I ride together at least once a week, but she's often too busy. When I go off alone, I'll pretend I'm in one of Louie's novels. Sounds silly, I know, but it's still fun. I also track animals such as deer or fox, but when I see a mountain lion or bear, I go the other way." They all laughed. "We live in Granada Hills," Kevin said. "We also have deer, bear, and lots of coyotes in our mountains as well. I never thought to track any of them. Tel was always watching for tracks in Mojave Crossing, too." "Yeah," Michael responded. "I understand that was one of Louie's pastimes. You have bears in L.A.? I wouldn't think they could survive in that city." "We have mountains all over L.A. County," Kevin said. Michael thought for a moment and said, "Yeah, I guess you do at that." They were silent for a minute, and Michael said, "I'd better get back to Kenny over here. We're discussing the finer details of installing a clutch into a '51 Ford pickup." He reached out his hand, and Kevin took it. "It's been a real pleasure meeting you, and thank you for the books," Kevin said. "We'll be back up again in a couple of months and bring them back to you." "Right back at you," Michael said. "Drive safe." He ignored what Kevin said about bringing the books back. "We will," Kevin said, and they all chimed their goodbyes together between Maggie and the twins. Junior was already asleep in his chair. "Can we see the books?" Trudy asked. Kevin held them over his shoulder, and one of the girls grabbed them. He backed up and pulled out onto the road, taking the 178 highway. Kevin reached out and took Maggie's hand. They squeezed each other and watched the scenery, holding hands. The girls were looking at the books. They sat together, and Junior was on the other side of Stacy, sound asleep. Kevin and Maggie were enjoying the twisting road which paralleled the Kern River all the way out of the canyon. Traffic coming into Kernville was busy, but it was very light on their side. That's how they had planned their trip, to be there when there weren't so many people, then leave on the Saturday morning and miss the traffic too. "Can we start reading the skinny one first?" Trudy asked, passing the book to Maggie. "It's called The Californios." "Let's wait until we get out of the canyon," Maggie said. Kevin glanced at Maggie, and her smile was as big as his. The end of Part 11.